screen and he's downhill. A couple of times we went under and he made a shot. So it's a little bit of a, what do you react to and what do you not react to? And, that's a balance there. That's why I mentioned the fouls, because, if you go under and he makes a couple shots, tip your hat. You go over and he gets in the lane. The things that hurt us is, when he gets in there and you've played good defense and you foul him, or he takes a shot and you miss and there's an offensive rebound. But, the pick and roll schemes are the lifeblood of this league. And he certainly puts a lot of pressure on you to figure those things out. And it's something we look at and work hard on. And sometimes it looks better than others.
All right. Thank you for your time, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.
Recording stopped.
If you're just now tuning in, we are going back and forth with different streams with the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies. Late game, but it was a thriller. The Jazz were able to go up 20 points before halftime, and then third quarter came, and Memphis was able to claw back into the game, making it a ball game. Ja Morant went bonkers in the second half. He had 47 points. He almost had 50 points. Donovan Mitchell did come back and play this game after missing 5 weeks of live action. And the first quarter, he looked great, but then he went out again, and after the half, limped back to the locker room. I think it was going into the fourth quarter. And I didn't think he was coming back, but the way the game was going, it was kind of back and forth. Ja was attacking the rim, and Quinn Snyder actually put Ja back into the game. It pretty much he was forced to put his all-star back in the game because they had to do something to counter Ja, because he was attacking. Him and Dylan Brooks, they have a great combination, just how they play together and play off of each other and the energy that Dylan has. But if you missed this game, you missed a great game. It was late, and I really enjoyed, watching this game and covering this game. I think that Memphis is still going to attack this team because they have the confidence, because they've already won one game already. So they know they can beat this team. So they don't have that element where they're afraid. It was one play in particular that Ja actually attacked Rudy at the rim, and it was phenomenal.
Recording in progress.
Frame it? Let's try.
Yeah. I got it.
Looks good. Hey, Rudy, can you hear me all right?
Yes, can you?
Yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead and jump in. We'll have Eric Walden start first, Salt Lake Tribune.
Rudy, given the third quarter that the Grizzlies had, what was it that you were able to do to kind of, decrease them from going off the way they did and kind of swing the momentum back in your guys' favor in the start of the fourth?
I think we just try to stay locked in more than anything. They came out really aggressive. They came out making shots, getting to the line. Pretty much everything was going well for them. So we, the good thing is we kept attacking them, right back at them. And they scored a lot, but we scored a lot too. That's not the type of basketball that we want to do, that we want to play. But, we just got to keep going. And I felt like in the fourth, we were able to get the starts we needed.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Rudy, what more can be done to guard Ja Morant and make things a little bit more difficult on him?
I mean, he's a very talented player, obviously. He's very aggressive. He's great at also finding his teammates. So, we know that, every game is going to be a, different adjustment that we're going to have to make. And, and try to make his life a little more difficult. And tonight, I don't know how many I think he shot about 20 free throws. So we definitely got to do a better job on that. And, keep trying to make, his life difficult.
Next up, we will have Ryan Miller, KSL.
Speaking of Ja, could you just take us through that block that you had on him in the first half?
I just try to, do what I do. protect the basket, just pretty much play off my instinct. And I know that he's very athletic. So if I'm late, it's a little harder for me. So I gotta anticipate it and try to time it, and if he makes it, fuck it. I just gotta be there and try to make his life difficult.
Corey Harrison, out of bounds.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, man. So during the time when the offense became a little stagnant and they got back into the game, how were you able to pull away and ultimately get this win and tie the series up?
I think we got a little distracted at some point in the game. We kind of lost our aggressiveness. The ball kind of stopped moving a little bit, and we know we can feel it. Everybody can feel it. We know that when the ball stopped moving, they're about to get stops and they're about to get transition too. And that's the things that we don't want to give them. So we gotta keep moving the ball, stay connected, keep playing through the physicality, and getting good shots, and then we can set our defense, and it's a totally different game. And it's the same thing with offensive rebounds. When we're about to get those rebounds, it's a totally different game. They have a lot of physical guys that like to crash the balls, and when we're about to get them out of there, it's they have to run back and guard us in transition, and it's a different story.
Sam Farnsworth, KSL TV.
Hey, Rudy. Donovan was very expressive after some of his buckets. You could tell that he was just excited to be back on the floor, had that energy. Coach Snyder called it a competitive spirit. How much does the energy of one player affect the entire team?
I mean, it's been more than a month, so I think he was really antsy to get back out there, and and we missed him. So it was great, getting his energy, his positivity, all that, his aggressiveness, and obviously his talent. It was definitely a good time to have him back. And tonight, he definitely did a great job. I felt like I didn't feel like he was out. I felt like he had the kind of game that that wasn't the first game back after months. So it just shows that he's been working. He's been putting the work, and he's been ready for that moment.
Tim McMahon, ESPN.com.
Rudy, after that block you had on Ja, he said something like, "I'll be back." How much do you enjoy that challenge of a guy who is that good, that athletic, and that aggressive?
I mean, that's what it's about. You can't. Sometimes I'm gonna get dunked on, and sometimes I'm gonna get the block. I'm not gonna stop coming and try to do what I do. And it's the same for him. Hopefully he doesn't stop coming, and I'm still gonna be there every time. So it's that's just the competitive spirit, and I know Ja has that, but I have that too. So it's what it's about.
All right, that's all the questions. Thanks so much, Rudy.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
All right, so that was Rudy Gobert. Was able to get a question in with Rudy and kind of get his take on the stagnant of offense, during the stretch. If he was able to see the third quarter, how Memphis was able to pull back into this game and make it a series. I was texting my cousin at the time, and while he was watching, it was a 20-point game.
It sounds like we have Donovan coming up next. So if you have a question for Donovan, please go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get to as many as we can.
It does look like we have Donovan Mitchell coming up, so we'll get back to that after Donovan.
Recording in progress.
Hey, Donovan, can you hear me all right?
Hello.
Hello. Good. All right, we'll go ahead and start with Kristen Kenny, Jazz TV.
Hey, Don, congrats on the W tonight and your first night back in 5 weeks. Your first shot, you make a three. First of all, how did that feel, and how are you feeling after tonight?
I feel good. I've put myself in, kind of treacherous situations to come back and be ready for, playoff intensity, and, felt better than I anticipated. And, just as a whole, I think the biggest thing as a team, we just did a lot of good things tonight. I think Mike had 15 assists tonight, like the man, 20 and 15. Rudy had 21 and 13. Like, we did a lot of really good things. So it made my job, easier. I didn't have to come in and just do everything. Like, I was able to just kind of find my spots and attack and just and kind of just do what I do. And my teammates made it really easy for me.
Tony Jones, The Athletic.
Donovan, can you take us through that sequence where you were talking to Dylan after that 4-point play, and just how important was it for you guys to come out and match that physicality and match that energy that Memphis, frankly, gave you guys in game one?
Yeah, that's the basketball I think we all love. Tony, growing up in New York, I'm playing basketball, in the city, that's every day, so, it's going to be a lot of talking, a lot of stuff. And, you just kind of go out there and just be aggressive. Just try to go out there and attack. And, he got the foul, and, it is what it is. But you got to expect the same energy when we come out in game 3. You got to be ready for it. And, the biggest thing for us is just kind of, like you said, they had an intensity level in game 1 that we really didn't match. And I feel like we did it from start to finish, except for a little bit in the third quarter. We kind of let up a little bit. And that's going to be on us to adjust and understand that we can't let that happen. And like I said, they're going to be wired and geeked up for game 3. We just got to be able, like I said, to continue to play this way. Because when we play this way, outside of the few mistakes we made in the third, to kind of let them come back, we're tough to beat. And I think we showed that tonight. And guys doing many different things, and like we all stepped up, but we got to continuously do it. It's just one game. We could have won by 50. We could have won by 1, but it's one game. It's a tie series. We got to go out there and take care of business.
Sarah Todd, Deseret News.
Don, early in the fourth, you took that free throw and then you checked out and went back to the locker room. It looked like you were maybe trying to work that ankle and keep it warm. Did you hit it? Did it sting it a little bit? What was going on there?
Try to keep it warm. I think that's the biggest thing. I haven't played in 5 weeks. So all my stuff that I've been doing, your ankle's warm. Every workout is always a time where you're warm. There's never a time where you're sitting and then come back in. So it wasn't anything bad. It wasn't anything to be weary of. I feel good. We'll see how tomorrow goes. But I think the biggest thing is just trying to make sure I'm, there for my teammates and making sure my body's right, and I think I understand I go to the back all the time. I think now just all of our games are on national TV, so they caught it. But I go to the back just to sit there and breathe sometimes. So it's not even about just the ankle. So just know that going forward.
All right, Matthew Coles, AP.
Knowing that you weren't going to play 40 minutes tonight, how difficult was it for you to just stay within yourself and not try to do too much?
I think that just goes with me just having trust in my teammates. I think the biggest thing is understanding that I'm not going to go out there and, like you said, play 40. May not go out there and have 40, but staying within myself, whether it's scoring. Tonight it was scoring. I didn't have any assists, which is killing me right now. I'm really not happy about that, but, we got the win. But just trying to find ways to impact the game. Sometimes it's just standing on the wing, finding ways to impact the game, getting the steal late, getting a charge, like any way I can impact the game in my minutes. I think is the biggest thing for me. And like I said, when you have teammates like the ones I have, man, it makes it so much easier for myself to go out there and just say, all right, these guys got it. I'm not going to go out there and say, kind of overrule anything. I'm going to go with the flow and continue to put my imprint on the game as much as I can.
Eric Walden, Salt Lake Tribune.
Donovan, Quinn said that, when a guy in your situation who hasn't played in a while comes back, there's kind of a tendency to go out there and want to put their stamp on the game from the outset. You had 12 first quarter points, but he said he felt like you were really kind of playing within yourself and letting the game come to you. How difficult was it to not try to be, overly aggressive and kind of just go all out in those early minutes?
It really started with me before the game.
I'm a competitor. I know myself. There are times where I got sped up. I had a moment, where I think I ran into Royce and turned it over. But understanding that you just talking to yourself. I've never been in this position before. So this is uncharted territory. So I had to find a way to just relax myself. It's easy to go out there and try and hit a home run to start the game, but the game's not won in the first 5 minutes. You know what I mean? That was my biggest thing. And like I said, when I have the teammates I trust them. Being able to get off the ball and being able to trust that they'll find me, I'll find them, and they'll make the right plays. That makes my life so much easier, and understanding that. So that was really my mindset, not coming out there trying to do too much because you run a high off adrenaline the first quarter, and then you got none less for the rest of the game. And understanding it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're just focused on game by game and quarter by quarter and possession by possession.
Ben Anderson, KSLSports.com.
Donovan, a lot of guys, when they come back from injury, talk about the fear of kind of re-hurting the ankle or knee or whatever it is. Did you have that with your ankle today? Was there some concern about it? Just, the mental aspect?
Yeah, there's definitely that. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. There's definitely a thought. You haven't been in this position in 5 weeks. And just kind of going out there, and everything you've been doing has been controlled. It's been controlled throughout the workout. So to kind of go out there in the middle of the playoffs and then go out there and try and compete, I think there's definitely a bit of nerves. And that's probably where a lot of the nerves came from. Outside of that, it's just basketball, but understanding that jumping off the foot, the way for the first time that hard in 5 weeks, landing, cutting, like those are the things that you definitely think about. But, once you get through the first two, it's like, all right, I'm good. You trust it, and that was fine.
Sam Farnsworth, KSL TV.
Donovan, obviously, Dylan Brooks scored a lot of points 23 in 28 minutes, but part of the reason why he was limited in his minutes was foul trouble early, and you were able to draw him into some of those fouls offensively when you are attacking. How often are you looking contact to draw that contact and maybe create some of those problems for?
It's not even just with him. I think that's just the part of my game that I've tried to elevate. To get into the free throw line more. I gave him his props. I mean, he's a hell of a defender. He's really good. So you're trying to find ways to kind of get around that. It's a game plan. People game plan for me, game plan for him. It's how it works. Game plan for Ja. There's always ways to kind of go about it. Tonight he was able to get in foul trouble early, which kind of freed things up. May not be the way the next game, but just trying to find a way to game plan. Players like him who are really good on that end. And at the end of the day, like you said, he had 23 in 28 minutes. He still went out there and hoops, but understanding that, just trying to manipulate the game in any way possible. Whether it's him, it's Bane, it's Ja, it's Kyle, whatever. That's just pretty much the mindset of the playoffs. I'm just trying to find ways to manipulate the game.
Nick Friedel, ESPN.
Donovan, you knew you weren't going to play heavy minutes tonight, but you were at 26. Are you expecting that number to grow substantially going into Game 3 now?
Honestly, it's really kind of play it by ear and kind of feel. I won't come out and say, yeah, I expect to play 35. I don't know. I think the biggest thing is, like I said, how the game goes, how I'm feeling, and trusting my body. Like I said, it's not a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and understanding that you got to trust the process in that sense. Understanding that you can't go out there and just trying to go full bore. That's how things happen. Understanding you got to ease your way into things. And tonight was a good start, but it's 1-1. We got to continue to build upon that, and that's where my head is at.
All right, we have time for one more. Tim McMahon, ESPN.
Donovan, as a dude who's had some obviously really big games at a young age in the playoffs, what do you think of what you've seen from Ja so far this series?
Honestly, it's not surprising. He's a gamer. He goes out there and competes. When called upon, he's out there doing what he needs to do. Like last game, it was kind of Dylan kind of going off early, and then he found his way in the fourth to start attacking, to be able to, like I said, manipulate the game in that sense. Tonight, he was aggressive from the jump, so kind of feeling that game out, at a young age, for him to be able to have that is definitely special. And I think that's something that I respect about him and about his game, and he doesn't quit. He embraces being down 20. I think he likes that more than anything else. I think that's something I respect because there's just a competitive nature about him that is definitely something that worth noting. I think he had 47 tonight, and he's got to find a way to make adjustments and make it tougher on him. But
when you have a guy that can go like that, it's definitely impressive, especially at how old he is, 21, 22, and he's gonna get better and better.
All right, that's all for tonight. Thank you, Donovan.
Thank you.
We have Mike
Recording
Conley
stopped.
coming up right now, so please go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question to Mike. Thanks.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. That was the Utah Jazz, and we just heard from Donovan Mitchell after his return back from injury. He looked good tonight. The first couple quarters, and then the third quarter, he had went out going into the fourth quarter. He did clear it up a little bit, but it did look like the ankle was a little tight. But I did like how he competed and how he impacted the game. Like he spoke about quite often during that interview. I like this series. I think it's going to be a great one. If they don't have the marquee names like your big name teams and everything like that, but there's a lot of talent on both sides, and I think that if you tune into this game, you tune into this series, you won't be disappointed. I think that this Memphis team has really surprised a lot of people, led by Ja Morant. Dylan Brooks is amazing as well. Love the way he plays, his energy on both ends of the floor. It's really hard for you to expend so much time on the offensive end, scoring the basketball and also defending. And he does it great. He's a great fit for this team. They're young, they're scrappy, and they call them Grind City. This team is a bunch of grinders, man. Like I love covering this team because they are, a team that kind of flies under the radar. And I think they might be, right there, and they might be like a piece away from, making a deep, deep run. They have what it takes. And I think that, if you watch this team and see the potential, definitely agree with that. So that's all we have for tonight. I want to keep it, pretty brief. These Zooms, do last a very long time. It's kind of late. I was going into 1 a.m. my time. So if you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you turn your bells on. We're definitely going to be continue covering this series, see how it unfolds. It's up in the air. Even though you have the best team, and then you have Memphis, who just secured the last playoff spot against the Warriors. They compete, and it's going to be up in the air. I can't really call it right now, but I think Memphis will be back once this series do go back to Tennessee. So keep an eye out for this. Keep an eye out for more Out of Bounds Sports Podcast content, and we are out on this one. Peace.
If you love the